So the Congressman would like to make a few remarks. Sir, we are honored to have you here. I'm at jeopardy right now because I'm a Roll Tide fan, and I heard that Doug Gabram and Bill Marriott went to the game, and they're not speaking to each other now. But Roll Tide, and I would say that baseball is still alive and well because I'm a Red Sox fan, and my friend, the Yankee fan sitting there in the front row, his season is over. Sir, here's your. There you go. Get out of your way. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. And Sergeant Renth and your wife, so many times service to our nation, many people sometimes forget that it's a family service. And so thank you for that. I can tell you that when I'm deployed to Washington, so to speak, sure, I miss my kids, but one of the things that does keep me going is thinking about the men and women who wear our uniform and the sacrifice that they go through. And it just reminds me that mine is small and compared, and so keeps me focused on service. And so thank you for that. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for being here. Let me also say on behalf of the people of our district, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you all do in this room. We have the honor and privilege of living in a world of peace that's created by your service. And so that is not something that I take lightly, and I know it's not something that the people in our communities take lightly. So thank you, and I much appreciated. It's an honor to be here today to honor Army Aviation and to thank you for your service. Army Aviation has roots going all the way back to working with the Wright brothers. So can't get much past that. In an increasingly complex world, our nation's air superiority is indispensable to winning. We must have it in our nation. Army Aviation stands on its own merits, but it also makes our world safer, and it makes everyone else better. And I'm excited to represent the great work that's done here at CCAD, the efficiency that's done, the quality of work, the heart that the people who work here serve with. American ingenuity leads to American military superiority with the goal of peace through strength. That is so essential. General Mattis said, he wrote a book called No Better Friend, No Worse Enemy, and that's really what it is. The goal is always peace. We don't seek conflict, but on the world stage, when the need arises, we always want to send the best men and women with the best tools, with a clear mission to dominate the battlefield and to win, and then to bring them home and care for them with the honor and respect that's earned and deserved. We've seen the dangerous results in the last decade or so beyond of what happens when we have a drawback in supporting our military. We've seen the accidents that have been highly profiled. We've seen destabilization on the geopolitical world. We've seen red lines crossed with no recompense. We've seen the resurgence of China, Russia, military spending and influence throughout the world. And it's served as a reminder of how important the presence of our military is in this world in maintaining stability and in peace through strength. And I'm excited to see and thankful to see that we've made a turn in that, and honored to, again, be able to be a small part of that in supporting the bills and the funding needed to continue to support our military. We have to maintain strength and readiness. Our nation depends on it. The world's security depends on it. Free people across the world and people still longing for freedom depend on that bright beacon of our nation supported by the military strength throughout the world. And the work that's done here is essential to that goal. I grew up in the shadow of military bases, and so I've grown up with a fondness and affection for our military throughout my life. I served briefly in Civil Air Patrol as a teen, and of course my grandparents both served in World War II, and then uncles who served at the Pentagon. And so always grew up and was taught how important it is to revere what our military does and the people who support our military. And it's an honor to serve you in this role. I can tell you, our first priority in taking office, I think it's been about 107 days ago, but was opening the office in our district to make sure that we can continue serving the people of our district. I would talk to people during the campaign. There was a little leeway in between representatives for those who followed this race. There were a number of veterans whose services were put on hold, their access to get services through the military. And so in the first week, we worked really hard to open up those offices so that we can continue to provide support to our veterans. Of course, people still recovering in our district from Hurricane Harvey, but a number of people were having trouble, as you know, working to get doctors through VA benefits and all those kind of things. And so we've been able to work with that. Some of you saw, it was such an honor to be able to pin some medals on Ricardo Gonzalez here, who was a Vietnam veteran who for 48 years was waiting to get the due recognition. And so that's one of the treats in serving in this office, is to be able to do that on behalf of the people of the district and continue serving. Working with Colonel Atkins and Captain Brock and Admiral Bynum, and understanding the needs of what's going on in our military community, and making sure that I'm able to communicate that, have an understanding of it, and communicate it well in Washington. In Washington, have been able to vote on National Defense Reauthorization Act, which provides essential funding for our military. Again, combating the resurgence that we're seeing across the world, we have to maintain strong funding and backing for our military and our readiness. Of course, giving pay raises to the men and women who serve is nice as well and well-deserved, and so that was part of that. I am part of the Depot Caucus, I should say, working together with other representatives to make sure that the quality of product, the value and efficiency for which you work is understood, but even beyond that, just the heart of the people who work. The workforce is not easily replaceable. And so we can look at the numbers and see how efficient it is. We can look at the quality of product and say we're producing a needed asset for our military infrastructure. But beyond that, it's the heart of the people who are here and who are working and ready and able, qualified to do the great work. And that's an irreplaceable asset. And so we're working to make sure that is not lost in the communication and the conversation. Of course, it takes working together as a community to make sure that this gets done. So constantly keeping a focus on working with state and community partners to ensure that the amazing work that's done here does get the proper attention and backing. Just a few weeks ago, we had the Corpus Christi Chamber in Washington, and so we were able to host the Chamber Military Task Force and set up meetings at the Pentagon to make sure that this story is continuing to be told about the great work that's been doing here. So I was very thankful to Wes Hoskins in helping us to make sure that that gets done, and all the community members that are involved. Let me just say thank you again. I'm one of the citizens who've gotten to grow up and appreciate the work that's been done, and to live under the peace that you create and continue to create. And I know for you it's a daily thing that so many of our citizens get to go about their daily lives not worrying about it, because you are worrying about it and you're on the front lines. And so thank you for your service in the military and in the support of our military. We have to continue to make sure that we have our support of our military, that they're well-funded, they're well-equipped, they're mission-oriented, able and equipped to do their job, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Well, it's been said by so many folks that have been up here this morning, Corpus Christi is one of those places that's blessed because of the relationship that it has with the local community and the government and the rest. I still shake at times because there used to be a congressman named Ortiz that was here. And I'm not sure why we don't have an award for him, because he just scared the daylights out of you if you were coming to talk about anything with the depot. And so we are very, very fortunate, Congressman Cloud, to have you to pick up and continue that legacy and continue to work on the Depot Caucus. I would also invite you to join the Army Aviation Caucus as well. I know there's so many hours in the day for you up there that, but okay, so I thank you so much for being here.